My name is Katie Payne, and as a donor family member and Executive Director of LifeLink of Georgia, I want to welcome you to the Tree of Life Heroes Who Gave celebration. Each year, it's with great honor that LifeLink gathers with families and friends of those loved ones who gave the gift of life through organ, eye, and tissue donation. This year, we're proud to offer our service virtually, allowing families and friends from across the country to participate in the celebration of our donor heroes. The first time I heard the name LifeLink was very early on October 15th, 2004. My parents had called to tell me that my big brother had died in a car accident, and there was someone who needed to ask me some questions on the phone. I don't think I understood the gravity of what was happening at that moment. I feel like I only heard a couple of questions. I know that they were very specific and important questions, but I don't think I understood that he had the opportunity to help others in that moment. I don't know the person who spoke to me, but I do remember how kind and thoughtful they were with their questions to me. My brother was hilarious, grumpy, set in his ways, but knew exactly what he wanted out of life. In my family, we lovingly referred to him as the golden child. He was my parents' favorite because he helped them move forward past the loss of their first son, who actually died 2 years before my brother was born. My brother was able to help several recipients. I believe it was 3 or 4 in all. Unfortunately, my parents did not want a lot of information as it was really too hard at that time, but I learned afterwards that he was able to provide whole eye donations, and several tissue recipients did receive his donations. Before becoming a donor family, admittedly, I was 21 years old, so I wasn't super focused on the importance of life, I can say, but I knew how important family was. After my brother's donation, I now know that it's not just family, it's time, it's friends, and that you never know what can happen in an instant. I ended up working at LifeLink, completely unconnected to my brother's donation. Oddly, sometimes life has a way of making that happen for you, but I decided to become a nurse. I really loved medicine and helping people, and ended up working as a manager of a transplant center here in Georgia and was recommended for the position here at LifeLink. Working here at LifeLink has changed me, and I'm always afraid something is going to happen to my children. And unfortunately, they have to live with that on a daily basis. But it's also made me realize how important every day is. Today matters, and so does the time that we have with each other. The Tree of Life, housed in our lobby, contains the first names of each of our donor heroes from 2021. It inspires each of our staff and volunteers as they walk by to continue our mission each and every day. The Tree of Life means to me a very difficult time in a family member's life, when they are asked to give and donate to someone that they've never met, and the honor that it gives to their loved one. Every day when I walk up our stairs, I stop and look at the tree and notice a new name that I hadn't seen before. Seeing those names every day is different every time, because I know that each person and each name represents a completely different life. LifeLink is tasked with approaching families at one of the worst times in their lives. When they've just lost something, we're asking them for something. We're asking them to help another family, help another life continue to move on, or even tissue to improve the quality of life that someone has lost. Working in a transplant center, I saw 20 kidneys transplanted every month, a handful of livers, but I never knew exactly what it took to make donation happen. In 2021, 388 organ donors provided 1,062 life-saving transplants for those waiting on the National Transplant Waiting List. Tissue donors provided thousands of individuals with an improved quality of life and mobility. Our local eye donors provided the gift of sight. I want donor families to know that donation provides hope. When I lost my brother, it was one of the most traumatic experiences of my life. He was my best friend, my roommate, the keeper of all my childhood secrets. But I know that even in that loss, he is helping others to live their lives to the fullest. You inspire me through your strength and perseverance. Grief is an unimaginable feeling that you cannot describe until you experience it. And having the strength and hope to donate in the time when you are most lost is hard. Your loved one's donation in life is never forgotten. Our staff, volunteers, those working in transplant centers, recipients, and beyond will honor the gifts that you have given and will always remember the generous love that you have shown your community.
Unfortunately for us, in April 2020, our 20-year-old son Daniel lost an inner battle with depression and decided to take his own life. He, though, had 3 weeks in the ICU. This was in the COVID lockdown and all the extra pain and difficulties that added to everybody. But at the end, we decided that, with consultation with the doctors, that his had no quality of life. He had so much brain damage that he was never coming back to us. And so we wanted him to be an organ donor. We had him evaluated to be an organ donor, but unfortunately the evaluation came back that he could not. And this was part of the confusion of COVID and the different protocols. But fortunately, there was a doctor at the hospital who heard this story and intervened and redid some evaluations, and we discovered that he could be an organ donor. Miraculously, also, that same night that this was all happening, we actually found Daniel's suicide note. And in the note, he said he wanted to be an organ donor. And so the power of all of that kind of happening made me feel in my faith that it was part of God's plan to try to have something good happen in such a horrible, tragic situation. On a bright, clear, beautiful day like this, Daniel became an organ donor to, like I said, his kidneys, his liver, and his heart. We are just so thankful for that. Daniel was 6'4", athletic, very good looking, very popular kid, had recently transferred from Georgia College in Milledgeville to Georgia, which was his dream to get into Georgia. Unfortunately, like a lot of kids with depression, he was really good at helping other people, but not good at helping himself, and was really good at also hiding the fact that he was battling severe depression. Losing a 20-year-old son who was perfectly healthy in the prime of his life, just so devastated, and we just wanted something good to come out of it. So, over the past 2.5 years, Lori and I have just taken a lot of solace in knowing that Daniel's organs had given life to 4 people. And we knew that one of them was a young woman out of state who received a heart, and we just could mentally imagine her living a fuller life. And, that entire time, we didn't have to meet these people or see these people, because in our minds, we knew through LifeLink that they were healthy and they were doing well, and we knew it was all in God's hands and that something really good had happened for 4 people from our tragedy. And we were fortunate enough actually to be able recently to meet one of the recipients, and his life had completely turned around, and he was so thankful. As he struggled for 1.5 years even to reach out at all, because of all the complex emotions they have about feeling guilty, about getting someone else's tragedy, doing good for them. And it took him a very long time and a lot of prayer and consulting with his family and his pastor before he decided to reach out. We were thankful he did, but I understand that for a recipient how complex that whole emotions are, and why some people might choose it just too tough to make that contact. Well, losing a child makes you very different. I saw a good quote that it's like having your life shattered into a million pieces and you try to glue it back together kind of close to how you were, but you never will be the same. Daniel's funeral, which of course no one could attend because of COVID, it was streamed online and we had thousands of people attend, but we had a video of Daniel's life, and the last slide was a picture of the LifeLink flag flying over North Fulton Hospital where his donation took place. And to me, it was very symbolic of the fact that was the last act of giving that Daniel did. Daniel was a very giving person. that something, again, of this tragedy, that we ended our funeral video with a picture of the LifeLink flag showing that something good had happened.
Hello, my name is Dr. Emmanuel Minja. I am an abdominal organ transplant surgeon at Piedmont Transplant Institute in Atlanta. I get the honor and truly the privilege to work with patients who suffer from kidney failure. When I do these surgeries, when I do kidney and pancreas transplantation, the things that I think about are, in general, in terms of the number of people in the United States to date who are actually waiting for organs. There's over 100,000 people listed right now as we speak, but I also think about, despite all these challenges, despite everything that goes on, despite all these difficulties, the people that I truly I'm humbled by and I'm honored by the donors' families. I get to witness on a daily basis how people are actually changed in these moments. I'm truly humbled by what you do. I thank God for what you have been able to provide. I thank God for you, and I always ask God to continue to bless you as you have blessed many others with these showers of blessings or gifts of life. So on behalf of all the people that we're working with, on behalf of all our patients, I truly, I'm honoring you today, and I'm thankful for you today.
When I think of donation, I think of strength. I think of sacrifice. I think of courage. I think of love. I think of legacy.
Donor families inspire me because at their worst time in their life, in their darkest days, they have the courage and the strength to think about other people and do something really good for somebody that they may never know.
Because of wonderful families like you, I have been given the awesome opportunity to watch my 2 children grow to be wonderful young men.
Thank you and your loved one for the selfless act of giving the gift of life to others.
I just want to say thank you to all of you amazing families out there who have given this gift of life so that the memory of your loved ones could live on. I want to assure you that they do. I've worked with a lot of families over the years, but I remember one specific family who I worked with who gave the gift of life from their beautiful 11-year-old daughter. And that family continues to work with us, volunteer with us all the time. And the one thing her father said to me that was so amazing, he said, I just don't want anyone to forget her. I want to keep her alive through other people, through what we do. And I just want to assure you that if you've worked with us, you've given this amazing gift, no one is going to forget your loved one. Not you as a family, certainly not the people who've received this amazing gift, and not us, the ones that worked with you through the process. So thank you so much for that gift.
19 years ago, a family just like yours said yes to a donation that saved my mom's life. She received a heart transplant, and our lives have never been the same since. From all of my family to your family, thank you for saying yes to donation so my mom could live. There are other recipients just like my mom who are now living a wonderful life because of your family and your loved one. We can never give back to you what you've given to us, but we can give you our gratitude. Thank you so much for giving the gift of life.
I am so grateful and appreciative that you said yes to organ and tissue donation. What other words can I say other than thank you?
Thank you for saying yes to donation.
Thank you for saying yes to donation.
Thank you so much for choosing donation.
My name is Hugh Witten. I'm a family care coordinator with LifeLink of Georgia. I'm also a kidney and pancreas recipient. I was born with a rare genetic kidney disease. My grandfather had this disease, and me and my brothers all have it. My grandfather also had a kidney transplant. So I knew from a very early age that at some point I was going to need to have a kidney transplant. It was just a matter of when. In addition, when I was 17 years old, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. So between the two, I knew those were going to have an effect on my kidneys. When I was 25, my kidneys really started to shut down, and I began to get worked up to get a kidney and pancreas transplant. And I was on the waiting list when I was 26 years old. Before my transplant, I was a type 1 diabetic. So I had to watch what I ate. I had to check my sugar. I had to give myself insulin shots, and just had to be very mindful of what went in my body. Additionally to that, I didn't realize it at the time, but I was beginning to get more and more tired, where I would need naps throughout the day just to make it through. I didn't have the energy to keep going and do everything that I wanted to do with my family. I had 2 small kids at the time, so keeping up with them was very difficult. It encompasses every part of your life. You wake up thinking about it, you go to bed thinking about it. When people start and talk to you on the street, most of them are asking, how are you doing? And they mean, how are your kidneys functioning? Have you gotten a call yet? Is everything still going well? When I was 31, I got a call one Friday morning that said, hey, we think we have a kidney and pancreas that will match you. We need you to come to the hospital. And so I drove up to the hospital, and the next morning I went into surgery to get my kidney and pancreas. After my transplant, I no longer have to check my blood sugar or give insulin shots. I don't have to worry about what I eat anymore, which is great because I love sweet tea living here in the South. And my kids don't have to see their dad sick anymore. My wife doesn't have to have a sick husband and always be taking care of everybody in the house. I get to go to a normal life, which is something I haven't known definitely in my adult life, and since I was diagnosed with diabetes at 17, since before that point. So it's this whole new world I get to experience now. So since my transplant, every day is a gift to me, and I try to honor my donor and my donor family in all that I do. I knew I wanted to help other families going through a transplant process of some sort. I didn't know exactly what that looked like, and I knew there were people behind the scenes making it all happen, but I didn't know who that was or how that happened. And then with my interactions with LifeLink, I said, that's who I want to work for. I want to do this, again, to honor my donor family, my donor. And so that's what I do now. I talk to other families very similar to yours and let you know this unique and very special opportunity to impact others and to save other people's lives through a rare and special gift. I have written to my donor family. I have not heard back from them, but it also took me 3 or 4 years to initially write to them. I wanted to write before that. I just didn't know how to say thank you, because thank you seemed like so little for such a great gift that I was given. It's hard to come up with the words that you want to say when you want to say more than thank you. But at the end of the day, that's all I can really give. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you and your families. You may never hear from the recipients, but from me and from my family, as a recipient family, thank you. From the other recipients that you may not get to speak to, thank you. We wouldn't be here, we wouldn't be living our lives today without you. Today, we light a memorial candle in honor of your loved ones who have given the gift of life. Their selfless and generous act of kindness will never be forgotten. From our staff at LifeLink, thank you. Please join me in lighting a candle for your loved one and all those who gave the gift of life in 2021. I would like to read a poem by Christy Ann Martine. Don't cry for me, I'm not gone. My soul is at rest, my heart lives on. Light a candle for me to see and hold on to my memory, but save your tears, for I am still here, by your side, through the years. Every year, families are invited to submit a picture on behalf of their loved ones. Please keep your candles lit as we remember your loved ones through pictures.
My name is Dina Porter, and I am the Family Services Liaison at LifeLink of Georgia. I have been impacted personally by LifeLink's mission in a number of ways. Prior to joining LifeLink in June of 2020, I had no personal connection with organ, tissue, and eye donation other than being a registered donor myself. I had no idea what it meant and the impact it would have on so many people. After being involved with LifeLink for 2+ years now, I realize and appreciate the importance of my relationships, the important time spent with my family. This experience does make me think about my family. Could I lose them suddenly today, tomorrow? I try not to sweat the small stuff, and I just keep things real. I stay in contact with people that I love and I care about. The Tree of Life is here behind me in the lobby of our Norcross office. We are able to walk in the lobby every day and see the first names of our donors who were parents, they were siblings, they were mothers, they were fathers, they were sons, they were daughters. The Tree of Life helps us reflect on the meaning of donation and the impact they have made and the legacy that they have left. I knew what the Tree of Life was to LifeLink of Georgia. I had no idea really the significance that it had for myself until several months after I began working with LifeLink. I was actually at a hair appointment, sitting in the chair waiting to get my hair done, and I was looking in the mirror in front of me. And in that mirror, there was a reflection of a Tree of Life painting that they had on the wall. I immediately thought of my work with LifeLink and my donor families, and I knew that I had to find that same painting or something similar to hang in my office. And I was able to actually find it that day, hung it in my office. So now when I come in the office every day and go to my specific workspace, I am able to look at that tree and reflect on our donors and reflect on our families throughout my day. I will receive phone calls from donor families asking me specific questions, and they naturally share with me who their loved one was, how much they're missing them. They share what their hobbies were. They share about their children, what kind of parent they were, what kind of child they were. They also will send letters for recipients, and in that letter, the letters are so heartfelt, and they share that experience with the recipients as well. I would love for any of you to contact me so I can help you answer the questions that you have regarding contacting your recipients. You can continue to honor your loved one with us throughout the year by participating in our quilt project. These quilts are taken to different events throughout the year as a way of showing others what registering to be a donor is all about. You can also sign up to be a volunteer, and you have opportunities to share your story about your loved one and helping us share what it means to be a registered donor. While we can never thank you enough, we are very grateful and appreciative of you and your loved one. We hope that this program tonight brings you some comfort and peace in knowing that your loved one will never be forgotten.